Joining us now is Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of Florida and a former special advisor to President Trump. So, Pam, over the past couple of days, we've seen the state of Florida once again reopen parts of their economy. It's something that a lot of the critics say is a little bit too early, but a lot of the people in Florida that we're hearing from saying that it's exactly what they wanted, acknowledging that the outbreak in Florida hasn't been as bad as some models were predicting. Do you think that Governor DeSantis is handling this situation appropriately?
I think he's doing a great job handling this case. And just to put it in perspective, as Attorney General, I believe in federalism, former Attorney General, and I believe in states' rights. And that's why President Trump is letting each state, even though we are at war with a silent enemy, he is letting each state handle it in the way they see fit. So to give you for instance, in Florida, in Hillsborough County, where I live, my hometown in Hillsborough County, there have been 1,300 cases of coronavirus. Yet in Miami-Dade, we've had 13,000 cases. So that's why Governor DeSantis has chosen, I'm sure you've seen, to keep the southeastern part of my state closed. Palm Beach, Broward, Miami. So that's why it's so important for each governor to know the demographics of our state. And, I live in the third largest state in the country. Not only that, 60% of all deaths in Florida, 60% are from ages 75 and older. Yet, that's only about 8%. So that shows the majority of deaths, 75%, and they had comorbidity as well. So, we live in a state with many elderly people. So I think, yes, the governor has done it cautiously, slowly, taking everything into account. And, you saw when we reopened our beaches in Jacksonville, Mayor Lenny Curry got some really unjust, bad press. They showed some disgusting, misleading photos saying that the beaches were overcrowded and overrun. And the media, the liberal media, showed that and went after Florida. And frankly, they owe Mayor Curry and our state an apology for that. So yeah, Governor DeSantis, we've done phase one. And now today he's in Sarasota. He's met with many people down there. He went to a COVID testing center. All the supplies are being given as needed, but we're doing this slowly and cautiously in my state, and that's the best way to do it.
And it wasn't too long ago where a lot of people were comparing Florida to New York, saying that Florida could become what New York had become. At that time, it was the epicenter of the outbreak in the United States, but now a couple of weeks have passed, and Florida has not hit that point. And I think you bring up the nursing homes, which is a very important point, because that actually looks to be, in hindsight, what New York did incorrectly. They allowed a lot of people with coronavirus to go back to the nursing home facilities, which got a lot of those vulnerable people that you're talking about sick, whereas the approach taken in Florida was a little bit different. And to the point that you're making right there, too, even among the older population, it hasn't been as deadly necessarily as other parts of the country, which is good news there. But when you talk about reopening the state as well, you bring up the idea that a lot of counties, for example, are opening up. Governor DeSantis is still putting restrictions on, I believe it's Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. What are people looking at as far as reopening the economy? Are they really looking at the economic numbers, the number of cases, deaths? What are the quantifiable figures that go into that decision making?
Well, it's a multitude of things. Of course, it's our economy. Everyone wants to get back to work in Florida. Everyone wants to get back to work throughout this country. But we also have to look at the safety of Floridians and the safety of everyone around the country. Exactly what Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, President Trump, and Vice President Pence have been stressing every single day on live TV to the American people. So, as we're slowly opening our state, people have got to, and Floridians, I believe in Floridians, I believe in Americans, as do you. And what people are going to do, we're hopeful that they're going to follow the rules of safety, doing this cautiously, being sure that as we reopen, people aren't jamming into bars and restaurants. They're respecting the 25% capacity. They're respecting the 6-foot distancing, and they're doing everything the right way. So our state and our country does not have a relapse. But sure, we want to get America back to work. President Trump does, Governor DeSantis does, we all do.
And Pam, you've been on the front lines of a lot of the issues that have been in the forefront of these headlines over the past couple of months. I mean, it's weird to think about that just a couple of weeks ago we were dealing with the impeachment saga. I mean, that seems like any other time that would have been the major news of the entire decade. But now it's something that is just kind of an afterthought. So acknowledging that point, you've seen really how a lot of things are politicized. It's an unfortunate time where we're in the middle of a pandemic. We even have to talk about the politicization of this issue. But acknowledging that point, how do you think that President Trump has responded to not only this outbreak, but also the different criticisms that he's received as well?
Oh, President Trump has, I pray every night for our president, and we are, as a country, are so blessed to have President Trump in our leadership at this time. He has built up our economy second to none, and he'll do it again. And we all know he'll do it again. He took early and decisive action. Think about the dates on this. The CDC, they issued a Wuhan travel warning on January 6th before there was even one single case in the US. January 17th, what did we do? We enhanced screening at our airports before there was one single case in the US. January 21st, what did President Trump do? The Emergency Operations Center was opened, and that was when we only had one case. And it's continued on and on from then. Now, hopefully, as Dr. Fauci, Dr. Burke is saying, hopefully we're going to plateau. It's going to continue to decline. But, it's so important to know that under President Trump's leadership, what have we done? He has done unprecedented public-private partnerships. Look at GM. They're building ventilators. Look at where the president was today. He's at Honeywell. And what are they doing? N95 masks. Working with our great corporations. He has led the greatest mobilization of public-private partnerships really since World War II, and all the great things he's done. And we are blessed as a country to have him as our president.
And that partnership you're talking about not only resulted in masks and different medical equipment and stuff like that, but also testing, which is very important in getting these people back to work. You can't necessarily have those people going back to work without adequate testing. That's what the White House has been saying all along. So that's another testament to that private-public partnership that you're talking about, which I think is very important. And we are at a time now where we're seeing the 5th consecutive day of decrease in cases, which I think is something of a good sign. Not only are we plateauing that curve that you're talking about, but it's a sign that we may be overcoming it as well. So I think there's good news on the horizon. Still a lot of news that we need to develop first. But Pam Bondi, I really appreciate you coming on, breaking down what's happening in Florida for us. Thank you.